friend, John MacLennan here, and in this video we're going to talk about soloing over the Stumble as recorded by Freddie King on guitar. Now I'm going to show you some classic Freddie King phrases that I've taken directly from the recordings. These aren't made up exercises, and the goal is to show you some ideas that you can practice with specifically improvising over this progression. Now I did already post a lesson on how to play the rhythm to this song, so if you're looking for just the straight changes, check that out on my channel, but today's video is going to be about improvising and soloing on top of this progression. Now, as with a lot of Freddie King songs, this is a blues, but it's not your typical 12 bar. It actually starts on the 4 chord, which is a fun twist. I'm going to break it down for you step by step, but before we dive into this lesson, if you're new to the channel and you haven't grabbed my Fretboard guide yet, go download this first, and this is going to show you the 5 chords and scales that I use to map out the entire fretboard. And it's so useful for soloing, of course, but not just for soloing. This is going to help your rhythm as well. All you got to do to grab your copy is go to johnmaclennan.com/fretboard guide, or you can use the first link down below. All right, well, hope you enjoy that as my gift to you, and with that said, let's dive into the lesson. Let's break down some soloing ideas for the Stumble. Now, the first lick I'm going to show you is something that Freddie King plays pretty often. He's used it in a number of his tunes, and the way it works in the Stumble is it goes over the last 4 bars, which is what we call the turnaround in the blues, and that's going over a progression that sounds like this. And then we go back to the top. So if you need help with those chords, just reference the rhythm lesson that I did on this song. But the lick that goes over this sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is using something called sixths on guitar, and I got a lot of this actually from listening to, people like Freddie King, but of course a lot of R&B guitar players. You hear this sort of stuff where you go, Steve Cropper, and of course other blues players would use this as well in sort of like a Stormy Monday sound, like that kind of blues sound. And what it is the interval of a sixth. And the way you play it, I'll show you the first shape here. It comes out of, I think of it coming out of this E chord here. Like if you had an E chord, but you barred it up 12 frets, you can play the 13th fret on the 3rd string, and then the 12th fret on the 1st string. And you're just playing those 2 notes, so there is a string in between those 2 notes. So that's a B string there, I'm just muting that. And then I've got the 12th fret there on the 1st string. So it's those 2 notes. Now the trick with this is, of course, Freddie would be playing with a thumb pick, and then I think he used a metal finger pick on this index. So he would just pinch like this with his fingers. So if you're using a flat pick, what you have to do is you got to put your pick on the 3rd string, and then you got to pinch that 1st string with, I use my middle finger and my finger picking hand. And then I can play the notes at the same time. It's a little tough to kind of strum it like that. You can't once you get down here. So that's why I recommend this hybrid picking technique. So that's our first shape. So again, I think of it just part of that E chord, right? That's why it works. It's just an E shape. For those of you that know the Cage system, that's your E shape there. Then from here, we're going to switch to a different position. Here there was, see, 1 fret apart from each other. Like this is on 12 and this is on 13. The next shape we're going to go to, they're on the same fret. So this is 9 and 9, and then 7 and 7. All of this is happening on those same strings, the 3rd string and the 1st string. So that's the first part. Now, rhythmically, these are eighth notes, and we start on the and of 1. 1 and 2 and... So I leave that middle finger there, and I guide it into the 9th fret, and then I add the ring finger. So I'm thinking about this shape. Then I'm also thinking about this shape here from Caged. And so those are my targets. It's like this E chord here down to this E chord. Then I go down to this E chord. It's a very common R&B thing. Here I'm playing 4 and 4. I'll keep that shape the same. Then 2 and 2. Then open and open. And that actually becomes like an E minor. Later we're gonna hammer into it. So now this one we slide in. So then it does the same thing again. But when we get down here, we're gonna go. So that's how it finishes. It goes open, 2, open. Then I just pluck the 3rd string and hammer it to the 1st fret. Then finish the open high E. So and there, I'm thinking that E shape, which is the same as this, just down the octave. That's all I'm doing is working my way down the neck from this chord to this chord. So again, it's really cool. You have this sort of down-home bluesy lick, but then it's going over almost jazzier chord changes, because remember the chords are they're doing what's called a 1-6-2-5. So over that is 1. So practice those target points. You know, it's tricky to maneuver that fast. So practice that, and then remember that when you get down to the bottom, those open strings right there give your hand time to get back up to the 12th position. To do it again, and then a variation. So little theme in there, right? Alright, so that's the first lick, and that one is a lot of fun. If you're new to hybrid picking, give yourself some time, but practice it slowly. The next one is a great lick that, again, a lot of these can be used over any point in the blues, but this one particularly goes over the 4 chord. So if you're playing a blues in E, and you go to the A, that's it. It's just this lick. 1 and 2 and 3. And so many of these blues players, you know, I think of B.B. King and stuff, it's not a lot of notes, but it's just the right stuff played at the right time. And so this is literally like 3 moves you gotta do. We're gonna play the 12th fret here on the 2nd string. Then we're gonna roll that finger over, grab the 12th fret of the 1st string. Then we're going to go to the 15th fret on the 2nd string and bend that one up a whole step. So 1 and 2 and 3. Starts on the and of 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... So we're doing that bend on the and of 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... And that, again, is going over the A. So simple ideas, but you can get a lot of mileage with that. The last lick I want to show you is a little bit more involved, uses some triplets and some more bends. Here's what it sounds like. So that's going to bend. We're starting with this very common rock lick, and it's played so much, but I still love it. So that's bending 14 on the 3rd string. Then as that is coming up to the pitch, you go to the second and first strings and you grab 12 and 12. Sort of roll the notes into each other. Then you go, that's 15 to 12 on the second string. Then we do this. Now that gets a little tricky here. You'll notice with this stuff, look at this lick. Look at this lick. You can't box these into just one scale. You can't say that that's the blues scale. You can't say that that is the minor pentatonic. You can't say that that's the major pentatonic. It's elements of all sorts of things. And so that's really what it's about. It's about practicing phrases like this versus just sticking to one scale, because if you just stick to one scale, when you get into analyzing what these players really do, they're not using just one scale. They're breaking all the rules and doing all kinds of things. But all those other little notes that you wouldn't choose to go to if you were following all the correct theory, you would never find. And so that's why we got to go into this music and get it out. So there's the bend. Now here's an example of what I'm talking about. Okay, so that is the flat third there, down to the 12th fret, then up to 14. Then we jump to 14 on the second string, and then back to the 12th fret on the first string. So, and then it comes down minor pentatonic there, 15 to 12. So, now some people call this mixing major and minor pentatonic. I personally don't think about it that way. I get what they're saying, but you can't tell me in the middle of the line I'm intentionally thinking, now I'm going to play minor pentatonic, now I'm going to play major pentatonic in the series of eighth notes in the song, which are going by like this. Like I already thought about 4 scales that fast. I don't think so. Then it just finishes with these 4 bends and a little pull off. I love that part. It's just 4 just really great blues bends going up a whole step. That's the 15th fret of the second string. And that's a bend up, a release to a pull off. So all together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, imagine this going over. So that'll work in all kinds of places in the blues. Where actually Freddie plays this in the song is where you go to the 4 chord, and then it goes up to a diminished chord, and he goes. So he starts mixing all those notes together, and then it's over the diminished. It's really a great sound. So take those licks and you can practice them first, just get them down individually, and then try and work them into soloing over the progression. So I like practicing, I record myself playing rhythm. I also use a looper pedal. Either one of those is a great way to lay down some rhythm and then start working on your solos on top. And to really help you put this together even more, grab my fretboard guide at the first link down below. Or you can go to johnmaclennan.com/fretboard guide. And this is going to show you the chords and scales that I use and how I connect them on the guitar neck. And I think about this when I'm playing anything on guitar. And I want to give it to you completely for free. Again, just go to johnmaclennan.com/fretboard guide. So go grab that right away. After that, leave a comment down below and let me know your #1 blues song that you would like to see me cover next here on the channel. As always, thanks for your support, and we'll see you in another video real soon.